your tire's tired.
He ain't good looking, but he sure ain't shy. He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Tide and Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Testosterone high today.
Yeah, Tom's a man, he's got the plan, he's really got it made. What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot, check out the junkyard babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Oh, yes, you are on, Coach. It is Football Friday in the doghouse, and it is football music throughout the show. And we get started with the absolutely greatest piece of football music ever recorded in the history of football music. And it's not even the end of football season. We got the USFL coming soon. It is a Super Bowl Friday in the doghouse. Play the guitar. And it means the superfecta to culminate this season's second grand trifecta. Someone is going to win a night in the TOC Sports Ice Suite. Hosted by myself, the JYB, Grizz. Maybe Grizz is +1. Maybe, maybe not. Could be up in the air. We'll have some chow in there as well. First round is on me. And everyone is in play today. Even if you are not on the Grand Trifecta big board right now. And I'll explain that in just one moment. Phone lines are open, so feel free to jump in. 256-576-4977. That will get you into the show. And then you can participate. This is a highly interactive day. The Superfecta is a highly interactive day. So I expect you to get in there and contribute early and often in this one. Phone line, 256-576-4977. My personal Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We're on the Twitch and the Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show there as well. Our YouTube channel is 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Like and subscribe there. Go to 977ESPN.com. Get links to all of that stuff. And while you're at it, get our app. You need to have our app where you get links to Zone 2 and 3 and 4, all our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. All right, we have 4 picks for you today. And each one of these 4 picks is worth 2 points. That's right, I said it. 2 points. So there are, what, 8? There's math in this show. 8 points available for the big board. Now, follow this. J.J. Bowling is our leader. He's got 6 points. So depending on what so by handicap, he's got an opportunity. He's a little bit ahead. But you can get 8, and if he gets snuffed, who knows? Jay in Athens has 4. Jason in Harvest has 4. Dale has 4. Keith, the Michigan fan. Jordan, Estero Rich in Florida. Big John and Badger Larry have 3 points on the big board. And there are a bunch of other guys that are on the board as well. 4 picks. Everyone is in on this deal. This is the way we're going to roll. Who scores first? L.A.? Or Cincinnati?
You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
In the game, Cincinnati.
There it is. Rose has eclipsed Cobb.
Sorry, I hate these teams. I hate these teams, and it feels like spring. It's 67 degrees going to be today. It feels like spring. I got a baseball vibe going on, okay? I hate these teams, but these cities have historic baseball teams. So that's where I went.
There it is. Rose has eclipsed Cobb.
There it is. Rose has eclipsed Cobb. Went old school. They get 3.5 against L.A.
I don't believe what I just saw.
Jack Buck, whose son Joe will not be on the call. I mean, you know what that is, right? You know what that is. 1988 World Series, Kirk Gibson limping to the plate.
I don't believe what I just saw.
Our third pick, over or under 48.5 points, and we have 2 SEC quarterbacks in this game. Who has more yards passing, Joe Burrow?
You know, I used to stop at the Exxon and get a chicken on a stick. Best I ever had.
That was his coach. You remember him? You remember Coach O? That was his coach. Gets 6.5 points against Matthew Stafford.
They want to spread you out and still pound you.
That's his coach, Mark Richt from Georgia. So those are your picks. By the way, this is the 4th time that we've had 2 SEC quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. The other 3, Fran Tarkington and Kenny Stabler. You forgot that one, didn't you? You're like, what the hell's that? Fran Tarkington out of Georgia, Kenny Stabler, 77 Vikings Raiders. Peyton Manning and Rex Grossman in Miami. Peyton Manning and Smokey Mike remembers that one. Peyton Manning and Rex Grossman. I don't even know what number that was. What was that, 46 or something? I forget. I can tell you the score of each of the first 10 Super Bowls. And the teams and the score, I can't tell you what number that was. Maybe 46, something like that. It was down in Miami. And Peyton Manning as a Bronco quarterback versus Cam Newton in the Broncos-Panthers game. I don't know which one. No, that was Fitty. I know that one. That was Fitty. That was the 50-cent one. 41 for the crack research team is telling me 41 for Manning and Grossman. Fitty. I do remember it was Fitty when Peyton Manning and Cam Newton, because that was that stupid year that the NFL made the 50 on the goal line gold. On the 50-yard line. They made the 50-yard line numbers 50 throughout the whole league that year. Gold. It looks stupid. The only team that didn't do it was the Raiders. They're always fighting with the league. Newton was trying to become the first quarterback to win the Heisman, the Natty, and the Super Bowl. And history will tell you after that was the end of Cam Newton. Kind of, right? Cam Newton, remember him afterwards sulking and being, a bad sport and all of that kind of stuff? Now, look, I'm always the one that says that, show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. But I think you have to have a certain amount of sportsmanship there. In any event, Burrow is going to try and do it now. So Burrow has a shot at becoming the first to win the Heisman, a Natty, and a Super Bowl. It's never been done. It's never been done. Here's another interesting Super Bowl betting fact. Only 6 times in the 56-year history, 55-year history of the Super Bowl, only 6 times has the winner of the game not covered the spread. What? The winner of the game is 46-6-3. 88% against the line. That's not the. I'm not saying the favorite is 88%. Listen to what I'm telling you. The winner of the game, like last year, who was the favorite? The Chiefs. The winner of the game was the Bucks, so they covered because they were the underdogs. The winner of the game has covered the spread 46-6-3. Just something to digest. In other words, if you're betting the game, why is my boom droopy again? Gosh, tighten this boom up. My nuts must be loose. Let me tighten this one up here. All right. Just pick your winner, okay? Pick your winner. And if you pick the winner and your team wins, they'll cover. If you've got the right side. Because 88.5% of the time, the winner of the game covered the spread. Coming up in a few minutes, Alan Bell Jr. I think that's the most fascinating stat like ever. Alan Bell Jr. will join us from CBS Sportsline. He's in with his thoughts on the big game and some of the opportunities that are out there as well. And on some other NFL news, how about Aaron Rodgers winning his 4th MVP last night, 2nd in a row. The record is 5 with Peyton Manning. Interestingly enough, Tom Brady, who dominated both Rodgers and Manning in his career, not a lot of games against Rodgers, but dominated him in as much as that he was winning championships while Aaron Rodgers won 1. Tom Brady's only won 3 MVPs. That dude might come back next year just to win another one. He could have been the MVP this year. Later on in the 11, Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, is back with a ton of fun props that he likes in the game. It's starting to feel like, I'm just going to say this right now. We've been on Brian Harsin every day. We got to say something about Brian Harsin. It's starting to feel like he might save his gig after all. I mean, the more time that passes, right, the more likely it is that he could survive, don't you think? Don't you think that the more days that go by, the more likely it is that they're not going to pull the trigger on him? What are they going to do? Pull the trigger on him the night before opening day? By the way, 205 days away. 205. That's a significant number, 205, right? Because it was in Tuscaloosa into 205. So 205 days away till Alabama kicks off. But Harsin, you know, and you remember that story about Arkansas State? Remember Grumpy was telling it. Remember he was telling the story? He was rehashing the Barrett Sallee posted it at SI.com saying that if Auburn would have just talked to Arkansas State, they would have told him to stay away from Harsin. Remember that? Remember Grumpy said, well, that was the Barrett Sallee story. Well, Terry Moajar, I think that's how you say it, Terry Moajar, former Arkansas State athletic director, who's now at UCF, says that Barrett Sallee Sports Illustrated story is pure BS. He wrote, hey, Barrett, that story is 100% not true. Very false and a lack of journalistic integrity. Whoever wrote it should have checked with me first. The irony is Brian won a conference championship as the 4th head coach in 4 years. We fully intended and hoped that he would stay. Close quote. Fake news. Fake news. Over there in a little glass room with a slanted ceiling, playing the Platters That Matter to Stacks of Wax. I think he's stoked for Football Friday. I think like me, I think he feels like it's his favorite day of the week. Friday.
It's not St. Patty's Day,
Oh,
so that's a different day entirely.
That's another day altogether. It's Super Bowl Friday. Grizz, how are you?
So I eat a caramel apple sucker before every game on the bus, and then I always wear one sock inside out and the other one right side in.
I feel as cool as Joey B right now. I'm doing good. I'm doing fine. How are you doing this morning?
I am fantastic. I mean, it's beautiful. It's sunny. It's breezy. I mean, if there weren't 19-mile-an-hour winds out there right now, I got to be totally honest with you, I would play hooky this afternoon after the show and go fishing. I would go fishing. Now, the thing is that I'm watching fishing, and that's what's got me all fired up. They're fishing at you can see that there. Can you see that? That's the studio TV there. You see the 4-shot up there?
Yeah.
That's the
you got the Bassmaster.
That's the AFCO Bassmaster Elite Series tournament. That's the big leagues of Elite Series or of professional bass fishing. The tournament I fished in was the Open, which is like the AAA deal. There are several guys that are fishing in this tournament here, including one that's on the screen right now in the 4-shot. There are several guys that fished in the tournament that I fished in last week as well. But it is so that's on, and it's on all weekend. And luckily it's on in the morning. Like, it won't affect the Super Bowl Sunday morning when they crown a champion. But I am kind of keeping an eye on that because I have to report on that as well. So it's got me feeling like hitting the lake. But it's also windy out there, Grizz. And when it's that windy, I am not a fan of fishing in the wind.
No, no, it feels awful just whipping in your face, especially when you're going.
Can't cast good.
Yeah. And I mean, yesterday though, like you said, it felt really great yesterday, and I just went out and shot some basketball. Went to the park down the street and shot at the local court. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we have a nice outside court, Kent Robertson Park, right off of Logan. It's
chain nets.
I'm so mad about this, and I hope like the recreation department is listening, because we want chain nets back. When COVID hit and they took the goals down and took them away, they put a goal back up, and it was a chain net. Well, one of them was. So we would always shoot on the chain net side. Well, we came back out after a couple of times after not being out there, and someone ripped the chain net, so there wasn't a chain net anymore. And so once we came
net?
It's actually, they're really nice. They're brand new, nylon nets or whatever. And I would hope that hopefully somebody's listening, that we can put more chain nets on the outside
they put
courts.
Chain nets up because you cut down the nylon nets.
Yeah.
How the hell did somebody get a chain net down? If you get a chain net down, that nylon net's gone, man.
All I know is like, it was one day we were just shooting, and then we noticed that there just happened to be a chain net up after, because the nylon net was ripped. And we just happened to see the chain net up, and we were like, "Oh yes, we're definitely shooting on this end." And we just—
Don't you love that, with the sound of the ball going through a chain net?
It is so—
I love that.
It's so much better. It's so much better. You could be by yourself shooting, and it's just like, once you make a swish or just any shot, just sounds better. I mean, it's just great.
Reminiscent of my youth, hearing the chain nets, and the paved court with the chain nets. They should do that in the NBA, like for the All-Star game or something like that. Go with chain nets, because they don't play any defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They might as well just go with chain nets.
That would be pretty sweet.
Call your own fouls. No blood, no foul, that kind of thing.
That would be pretty sweet for sure. No, the draft last night was hilarious. If anybody watched it last night on TNT, it was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, nobody watched it.
I know, I get it, but Durant was so petty with the trades and everything, with Harden gone, and it was just absolutely funny. It came down to either Harden or Rudy Gobert, and he picked Rudy Gobert after a long-waited decision of who to pick, and he said he'd go with some size, so he went with Rudy Gobert.
That's funny.
And it was just absolutely great.
That is funny. All right, let me get Wolverine Dan in here and get a first set of picks in for the Friday trifecta, and then we'll get to Alan Bell Jr. Wolverine Dan, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm not great. I'll tell you about that in a minute, but I was really bad this year with the trifecta. I never call in on Fridays, man. I'm so busy, I keep forgetting, Tom.
You were in a bunch of them. You didn't win much, but you were in several.
Yeah, I've been kind of busy,
Yeah.
Speaking of that, hey, people out there, get pre-qualified to buy a freaking home and work with your mortgage company. Make sure you let them know when you move from Colorado here, you don't have a job. Yeah, that's the second person that backed out of my freaking house.
Oh, you had the house sold and the guy didn't have a gig?
Yeah.
Because did it fall through? And who they need to talk to is North Alabama Mortgage and Brian Hamaker and those guys. So go to North Alabama Mortgage, Brian Hamaker, and get pre-qualified, and then you can buy Wolverine Dan's house.
Listen, I'm here right now. I'm doing, everything's out already. It's already been cleaned, but I'm cleaning it again. And I didn't think I'd have to cut my lawn. I'm cutting my lawn again. You know what? I'm sick of this crap. You people out there, come on, wake up. Here's what's scaring me, Tom. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm not a complete idiot. Bottom line is the people these days don't know how to do anything, Tom.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of incompetence out there right now, but it won't last long. It won't last long because, these houses are my daughter and her husband sold their house in Huntsville, and this house was between $900,000 and $1 million. They sold it in 6 hours. It went up, and it sold in 6 hours. So people are buying. It won't last long.
No, I live in Madison. I agree. I had a bunch of people look at it, and the first day, boom, that was that person. They backed out. And then, like I told you about the other person, everything was fine. So it's not in my control. We're just getting these idiots for some reason that are trying to buy my freaking home. Well, give me somebody that knows a little bit about mortgages and how they work and how you pre-qualify. That's all.
Go to North Alabama Mortgage, and that won't happen. All right, let me get you in here because I got to get to my guest. So who's going to score first in the game, the Rams or the Bengals?
Detroit Lions, Matt Stafford.
The Bengals get 3.5 against the Rams.
I'll take Matt Stafford and Detroit Lions.
I don't believe what I just saw.
Over or under 48.5?
It'll be under, but I think L.A. will have more points. Or I should say the Detroit Lions, Matt Stafford will have more points.
Should I even ask Joe Burrow plus 6.5 yards or Matt Stafford from Georgia?
Well, I'll take Matt Stafford from Detroit Lions, yes.
They want to spread you out and still pound you.
There you go. Yeah.
I could at least say I had a quarterback that played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay? I got one golf played, I guess he did. But you know what? Listen, this is Matty Stafford, and as far as I'm concerned, the guy's got a heart of a lion. I've told you, this is a guy that deserves this. And, Tom, you got to get over this Odell Beckham stuff. And just think about what it means to this guy because he's got his arse kicked all these years.
Yeah, but I just can't. I'm rooting for my money. I'm going. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bet the over, and I'm going to forget about it. I'm going to bet the over, and then this way I pull for both offenses to score lots of points. So.
Okay. Well, look at. All I know is, Tom, it was nice. It just came off my tongue real nice saying the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, they're all. Yeah, and it's amazing. It's a phenomenon that people are talking about is how many Detroit Lion fans are pulling for Matt Stafford to win this Super Bowl. I mean, it is something that there's been a lot of talk about that.
Well, once he gets his Super Bowl ring, he needs to go to the graveside of William Clay Ford, okay? And, maybe the drink night before and have a couple of White Castles and, maybe urinate on his grave.
Oh, my gosh. Jeez. We'll pee on the grave of
We were screwed from this William Clay Ford. You know as well as I do. He screwed us.
Yeah, but, he invented a hell of a car that you can find at Woody Anderson Ford, and you can get your service done there as well.
You're really pulling these pitches today, ain't you?
I am.
Man, listen.
I've talked to you.
Okay, listen, I had a great time talking to you, my friend. Hey, listen, I'll send you a picture of my brontosaurus. I'm making my granddaughter a brontosaurus.
There you go. Okay.
I'll send you a picture.
Appreciate you. Good job, you. If you need a tool that you don't have, you can go to Valley Equipment Rental and get the tool that you need to complete the brontosaurus job and cleaning your old house that people buy and they don't go to North Alabama Mortgage, so they don't get their mortgage and they can't buy the house. Okay. What you need is to calm down and put a nice home theater system in your new house from Audio Insight and have them install a nice home theater, and then you can sit and watch the Super Bowl. Don't hurt yourself. If you hurt yourself, you got to go back to TOC Sports and get your shoulder done again. They already fixed you once, okay? So I'm not worried about him hurting himself because TOC Sports fixed Wolverine Dan's shoulder, so he should be okay. Did I miss anybody, Chris? I think I got him.
I think so. I think that's everybody.
Is that everybody?
I guess when you're putting up your TV or something, I
already said them.
Okay. I was making sure.
I told him. I said, get it. A home theater from Audio Insight. You can watch the Super Bowl and enjoy that.
Okay.
At his new house.
I was doing something. Sorry.
He can put that up there. The problem with moving from Madison to Huntsville, though, is he's further away now from the Rocket City Trash Pandas games because the stadium is in Madison, right near Huntsville. So let me get a break. When we come back, Alan Bell Jr. will join us from CBS Sportsline right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us, too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hey men, this is John Dees, pastor Crosspoint Church. Whether your own marriage is like 1st and goal from the 1-yard line or 4th and 15 from your own 2, there is something to be learned which will help us grow and our wives to grow closer to God and to each other and to finish the game well. So if you are married or single again, our new marriage series, I Do, Building Our Marriage, is for you. Join us this Sunday at Crosspoint Church at 9 o'clock or 10:30, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, or check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Hey, this is Justin with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We'd like to invite you to North Alabama's premier patio bar and grill, where at the factory, we have something going on each and every night. Monday night, steak night. Tuesday night, karaoke. Wednesday night, the Jeep community comes out for Jeep Jam. Thursday, it's bike night, the biggest in the valley. Friday and Saturday, live concerts on our 4,000 square foot patio, along with drink specials and a beautiful staff. What are you waiting on? We will see you at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing: helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
Leaving his mark on sports talk radio with a paddle.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Join West Neighbors weekday afternoons on The Drive, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Wow, someone bet $5 million on the Cincinnati Bengals money line at plus 170. Largest bet ever placed in a legal sports book. $5 million. Holy mackerels. This segment of the show brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, where you can get your service done at Woody Anderson Ford no matter what kind of vehicle you have. The service lines are impeccable over there. The talent, that's what I'm calling it, talent that they have with their service technicians is outstanding. They can get it done for you. Woody Anderson Ford. Check out the certified, gold certified pre-owned vehicles as well at Woody Anderson Ford. Plus, you can order your brand new 2022 F-150 exactly the way you want it. There's no additional cost to order it exactly the way you want it. Joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, Alan Bell Jr. from CBS Sportsline. AB, wasn't you, was it? $5 million on the Bengals plus 170.
No, Big Dog, I was going to ask, man. I didn't know that you had money like that throwing it on the game. Well done, sir.
No, this broke my record. It said the previous record was $4.9 million. That was me. That was on money line. That was ironically, that was the $4.9 million was the money line that was placed on the Rams in the Super Bowl 20 years ago when they were upset by the Patriots. So the guy lost the $4.9 million. Now, if you adjust it for inflation, that bet was $7.8 million in today's money. But in any event, this guy got it at plus 170. It's come down a little bit to plus 165 now, and the line is coming down a little bit. Were you surprised that it held at 4.5? So we were using 3.5 today for our Friday trifecta. Were you surprised that this line hadn't moved more before now, based on the fact that it seems like so many people are on the Bengals?
Yeah, it is surprising, right? Like, we're starting to see the public and really everybody jump in on it now. We had a nice week and a half to where you could get ahead. But yeah, I mean, we've seen line movement there. The interesting part is we haven't seen the total move at all ever since the beginning. It was at 50. It's at 48.5. Literally since then, right? And you look at it, these two teams in the postseason this year, they're 5-1 to the under. And the only reason that one over hit from the Rams was Tom Brady making that epic comeback attempt. Other than that, they'd be 6-0 to the under.
I'm on the over. I'm telling you, I'm on the over, and I'm hoping it comes down a little bit more. That's what I'm waiting. I'm not on it at 48.5, but I'm waiting to see if it comes down anymore. And I had to find something that I really liked because I'll tell you why, AB. I hate these two teams. I can't stand Odell Beckham Jr., what he did to my Browns. Can't stand him. And what the Rams did bastardizing one of the great uniforms of all of the – and their uniform was so great that a couple of years ago when they were in the Super Bowl, they wore their throwback uniform because they knew that their uniform sucked. So they wanted to be, people to see them in their good gear. They're kind of doing that this year, but not really. And then on the other side, it's the Cincinnati Bengals. And I love Joe Burrow, I really do. But it's as a Browns fan, I can't pull for the Bengals. I want to throw up in my mouth thinking about them winning. So I've decided to go with the over in the game, and that's the only way I can watch this game in good conscience and hope that both these teams, go up and down the field. I think both teams could have a defensive score in the game. I think that it could go over.
Yeah, look, I don't blame you there, right? And if it goes under, you're stuck in Super Bowl purgatory. But no, I totally get it. These two teams are so similar. And in fact, they both scored the same amount of points in the regular season. These two teams are pretty identical in terms of production. So yeah, you got that. You got Joe Burrow, who's just been amazing. You got the Rams, who have weapons everywhere. It's going to be a good Super Bowl. It's going to be fun. It's going to be different, right? We're so used to an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady or a Roethlisberger or a Peyton Manning. We're so used to at least one of those guys being in the game that now that we don't have either, and no Chiefs, no Patrick Mahomes, it's wide open, right? So that's what I'm most fascinated to see is who takes care of business.
Well, we got the grizzled vet in Matt Stafford with the emotional people what wanted to see him get one after him being in NFL hell in Detroit all those years, and this would kind of verify. I mean, I think he becomes a Hall of Famer if he wins a game. I mean, I really do. I think he's marginal without it, but I think he becomes a Hall of Famer when he wins the game. They lose the game, though, and really he's no different than Jared Goff. They just gave up 2 first-round draft picks to do the same thing they did with Jared Goff. So there's a lot of pressure on that side. And then on the other side, with Joe Cool, Broadway Joe, now Joey B, I mean, this kid, it feels like we're going to see a lot of this. I hate to even say it. I can't even get the words out of my mouth. But the reality is it feels like this will be multiple trips. But I felt that same way in 1983 when I was 22 years old, and I saw Dan Marino in the Super Bowl. And I thought, well, we're going to see him in about 5 or 6 of these things. And he never went back. So Joe Burrow, Dan Marino, or Tom Brady, or somewhere in between?
It's a great question. You know, you bring up a good point. Like, it's hard to get the Super Bowl. It's very, very difficult, right? Like, Tom Brady is not the norm. You know what I mean? Even the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, but that is not the norm. There's been a lot of good quarterbacks that never got to one, that maybe got to one, didn't win one. It's difficult, man. So, you know, we'll see. You know, the interesting part is that the Bengals are going to do nothing but get better. Like, this team should not be in the Super Bowl just looking at their roster of talent, right? Like, that's how good that they've been playing. So when they hit the draft and they get that offensive line better and they add more weapons for Joe Burrow, like, they are going to get scarily better. And then you look at the Rams, just like what you said. They've leveraged everything for this moment right here, right now. Next year, no first-round pick, no second-round pick, no third-round pick. The year after, no first-round pick. They don't have a first-round pick until 2024. Like, they have leveraged the entire team on this moment right here. So it's fascinating. Which team wins the game? The team with no pressure or the team with all the pressure?
Yeah. But it's not like they're an overly old team, right? I mean, it's not like this team, as it stands, I think can stay together for another couple of years, right? They shouldn't need to add. I mean, you never want to not have, you know, first-round draft picks, but you would think that of all teams, this team is probably positioned to be this way for the next couple of years. Stafford's only, 32, 33 years old. You think they'd be all right?
Yeah, the roster is going to stay pretty similar, right? And it's good for somebody like Odell Beckham, who's had a good year. And when he's coming up for a contract, well, you know what? They can't really replace the guy, right? So, like, players on the team that are showing out, like, you're pretty much going to get a next contract. But, yeah, you're right. Like, this team is relatively young in a lot of places, even though the faces of the team seem older, obviously, when the quarterback's older than the head coach. But, yeah, man, like, this team should be good for a little while.
An interesting number that is out there, I had this in the open. This is actually bizarre, but only 6 times has the winner of the game not covered the spread. So, I mean, 46, 6, and 3, 88% the winner covers the spread. That's not the favorite covering the spread, the winner covering the spread. In other words, it could be the underdog like last year, but they covered the spread. So it almost feels like, you know what, pick who you think is going to win the game. They'll cover for you. You know, if they win, they'll cover for you. Very, very rarely do you pick a side like I did with the Rams against the 49ers -3.5? Do they win the game and not cover the spread? Isn't that crazy?
Yep. No, it is crazy. But I'll tell you this, you know, historically in the playoffs, that has held up as well. Look at this postseason. Every single game in the playoffs this year, the team that won the game covered the spread, except for the Rams against the 49ers, and that was by the hook. Other than that, every single team that won covered the spread.
Yeah. Do you want to give us your pick on the air? I mean, I know you've been with CBS Sportsline and all that stuff, but would you go ahead and share with us what you think the score is going to be?
Oh yeah, Rams. I'm going Rams. Look, I've ridden them, you know, through the playoffs off that exact same mantra. They know what time it is. They have to win this game. And you look at Sean McVay, the guy's already lost his voice screaming at practice in terms of getting hype and getting his players ready. Like, they know what time it is. You're not seeing Rams players doing interviews. You're not seeing anything. They are practicing and getting ready. I'm going to take them 3.5. If you get it at 4, take it at 4. I think the Rams win this game. And it's nothing against the Bengals, nothing against Joe Burrow, but I think the Rams have a better offense. I think the Rams have a much better defense. And you know what? They're not afraid to use their special teams either. So, yeah, give me the Rams. I'm taking it with the spread.
You know, Pete Prisco agrees with you there from CBS, and he has them by 1. There are a number of people that are kind of bucking that trend that we just talked about. I'm seeing Bengals by 1. I'm seeing Rams by 1. A lot of people think that this could be a very, very close game. And, obviously if the Bengals win, that's intact. If you pick the Bengals, but if the Rams win, not a lot of people think that this could be any kind of a blowout type scenario either way.
Yeah, I kind of do, to be completely honest with you. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if the Rams win this pretty easily. Now, it might be a tight game and the Rams pull away late, but again, like, I just wonder how much, can the Bengals, just rely, and I'm not saying it's luck or magic or anything like that, but they're playing just way over their head for what this team is. I think the Rams are just an overall better team, and I think if the Rams just don't kill themselves, if Stafford doesn't throw a pick six, if he doesn't throw, a brutal interception in his own territory, if they just play their game, I think the Rams kind of handle it somewhat easily. So I'm not too terrified about it. Like, I feel very, very comfortable taking the Rams with the spread here.
Alamo Jr. with us here. A couple of other newsy things going on in the NFL. Do you have any idea what's going on with Kyler Murray? What's the story with him, scraping all the mentions of anything on his social media of the Arizona Cardinals? What is going on in that situation?
Man, I don't, and I don't think that anyone does, right? Like, it has just been that move and then just silence. Like, nobody has an idea of what in the world is going on there. It's strange because if he doesn't like it there, right, like, I don't know why he wouldn't. It would have to be the head coach. Like, I don't know any other scenario why he would be unhappy because the entire team is built around him, right? Like, he has power. If they want to, go get players in the draft that he wants, they're not going to go Packers, Aaron Rodgers. Like, he has a say in that team. So if it truly is something, it makes me think that him and Cliff Kingsbury don't get along. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying that if this is true with Kyler, that he's unhappy, the only thing would be the head coach.
Yeah, I don't know. And you wouldn't think that Cliff Kingsbury would be, you would think that they would be two hearts that beat as one. I mean, the system is perfect and so on. I'm seeing a rumored swap with Cleveland, Baker Mayfield and the Browns' first-round pick to Arizona for Kyler Murray. If there's a system that would be more awful for Kyler Murray, it would be Kevin Stefanski's system, the tight end-oriented, run-the-ball-oriented type system. I am not a huge fan of Murray's. I think he's very exciting to watch, but I don't think you can win with the guy. You look at the quarterbacks that have survived the playoffs. They're all big, strapping 6'3", 6'4" guys that can chuck it around. Josh Allen is the most mobile of the group, but many of them are guys that can do damage in the pocket. I think that's the quarterback of the future, which is the quarterback of the past, to be honest with you. But what do you think about that? I mean, it could, would you take Baker Mayfield and the Browns 1 for Kyler Murray?
Ooh, if I'm a Browns fan, I think Kyler would be a step up from Baker. But I agree with you, too. Like, I don't know how well that works in the long term. The quarterback of the Browns want, and I'm not saying that's the exact guy, but it's the style, is in terms of a Ryan Tannehill to where he can throw and beat you in the pocket, but he's also athletic, but that's not the go-to. You know what I mean? Like, he could do it on a third down when the play breaks down, but he's going to beat you in the air, right? So, yeah, like, I would take Kyler over Baker, but, man, like, that's just like one of those trades where you make the trade and then you realize you're like, all right, we're just kind of in the same spot that we just were. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, especially with Stefanski's offense. It's a three tight end. They don't throw to receivers. And if they do that and they get out of the first round, then they don't have a first-round pick to use on one of these big-time receivers. This is a good receiver draft, and they wouldn't have that opportunity to grab a good receiver there. Mike Vrabel, Coach of the Year. Very, very popular pick there. Interesting that it happened because the Titans often are overlooked. They just do not get that national appeal. But that was pretty cool, Vrabel getting the Coach of the Year, and it's almost like a cumulative thing. It's like a cumulative Coach of the Year over what he has done for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, it was, right? Happy to see it for him. Anybody outside of, the viewing area of the Tennessee Titans that paid attention, this team had so many injuries. I mean, they set the record in the NFL for the most players that have played this season. And considering one of them was your best player in Derrick Henry, and all they do is win double-digit games, win the division, get the number one seed in the AFC. Like, I was totally with it. If Zach Taylor, the Bengals, would have won it, I wouldn't have complained one bit. I totally would have gotten it, understood. But, yeah, much deserved for Mike Vrabel.
And Aaron Rodgers, his 4th MVP award. He said that the angst that existed last year between him and the Packers is not there now. I have said all along that I think he's going to remain with the Packers and finish with the Packers. I feel that way more than ever now. If he doesn't retire, that he'll stay with the Packers. What do you think? Do you think it's still possible he's on the move? Obviously, Tennessee has been mentioned as maybe the number one place that he could go to in the AFC and have a shot at winning a Super Bowl. But that notwithstanding, do you think he's on the move or do you think he stays put?
No, I think I'm with you. I think that he stays put. I would say this. I think there's a better chance that he retires this offseason than traded, right? Because why would the Packers do it? Unless you gave them legitimately 5, 6 first-round picks, like you would have to literally leverage your entire franchise because the Packers don't have to trade it, right? Like, I mean, you just have to give up so incredibly much to do it. And I'm with you. I think that Aaron, sees that, he's only got a couple of years left, and he might want to go do other things, outside of football. So, yeah, man, like I
like
think
host Jeopardy. I think he wants to be a talk show host is what it is. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, he either plays with the Packers or he retires. Like, I mean, he could do that too, but I'm with you. I don't think he's on the move.
I don't know what's going on with the hair. That's what I don't understand. So is he in an early midlife crisis here? What is going on with that flow? Because it's not appealing. He's a nice looking man, but I don't know what's going on with that hair.
Hey, if anybody's ever seen the movie Fargo, like, he looks like the bad guy with the long hair in Fargo, right? Like, Aaron Rodgers does what Aaron Rodgers wants to do. Like, and you don't know what it's going to be. He could announce he retires today. Like, I mean, it would surprise you, but then it wouldn't because he marches to the beat of his own drum for sure.
No doubt about it. All right, always a pleasure. Great stuff. Alan Bell Jr., CBS Sportsline, our Friday guest. We appreciate you, AB.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Let's get a break. When we come back, we'll set you up for hour number 2, and if you want to jump in, we may have room to get you in right now at 576-4977. It's 256-576-4977. If you want to get a piece of this Friday trifecta, we'll do it next right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that, chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at BadDaddy'sBurgerBar.com.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental on the South Memorial Parkway. Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental is independently owned and operated by local folks right here in the Valley? They are celebrating 10 years into business this year and have grown to be North Alabama's largest supplier of rental skid steers and mini excavators. Now, if you have a question about what tool to use, just call them at 964-6081, and the pros at Valley Equipment will get you into the tool that you need for your specific project. Valley Equipment, more care in every rental.
Here in the South, we like our traditions, like Alabama football and tailgating on fall Saturdays. And the best way to start your tailgate? Visit Brooks & Collier to see North Alabama's largest selection of premium grills and smokers. Big Green Egg, Blaze, and Traeger. Everything you need for that perfect tailgate. Check out our rubs and seasonings. We have a full wall to please any taste palate. Visit Brooks & Collier at 813 Meridian Street or at brooksandcollier.com. An Alabama tradition for 75 years. Roll Tide.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
It's football season again, which means it's football season again. And here at Frank's Red Hot, we've put together a completely exhaustive list of essentials that will bring everyone together on game day. Essential number 1, Frank's Red Hot. I mean, come on, people, that was a given. Number 2, wings. Like, just so many wings. Okay, it looks like that's it. There's not even a third thing on the page. Do I just say the first 2 essentials again, or is that weird? Nope, just Frank's and wings? Okay, that's okay, yeah. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
Roll Tide! Roll Tide!
The journey for 19 begins this year. This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, and we'll bring all the action to you right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Now, welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. TOC Sports for all your injury needs. It's TOC Sports. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be something, oh my gosh, you need surgery. Doesn't have to be that. It could be any kind of an injury. It could be something you just need some therapy. They'll get you right. Most of the injuries that they treat are just for therapy. And if you do need surgery, the best surgeons anywhere are at TOC Sports. So check them out. They're when you need them for over 20 years, and they have little satellite locations all over the Tennessee Valley. All right, let's go to the lines. Dale is up next. Dale, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, doing good. How you doing, buddy?
I am fantastic.
I've been tied up all week. I haven't had time to call in or even listen to the show. Been real busy. How'd you do fishing? I was going to ask you how you doing.
Lousy. I mean, I ended up 144th out of 225, and it wasn't good. I wasn't packed properly as it turned out. You don't know when you go on one of these things and you're going to fish as a co-angler. You take as much stuff as you can, and sure enough, I show up at the Kissimmee, and everybody's doing things that are different than what I was told going in, and I just so it was hard to make that adjustment, but it is what it is. Had a good time. Had a great time. I fished with T. Roy Broussard from the Swamp People, who's a pro angler now. I fished with him and had a wonderful time. And then I fished with Charlie Hartley, who I fished with before, and had a great time. So I had a couple of great draws.
Yeah, the co-angler kind of puts you in in a disadvantage sometimes if you get somebody who wants to fish something that you don't fish. So
right, and I'm stuck with that. It's a sponsorship deal through Bass where they sponsor me to fish as the co-angler, and so it's the only time I ever do that. Fish as a co-angler, so it's just tough for me because I got to go through the boat and fish through 35 rods and come up with 6. You're only allowed 6 rods.
You're only allowed 6 and so much tackle. And you go out there and he's going to throw spinner baits or crankbaits or whatever, and you don't have none in your box, and you're just done.
Well, and some of them don't really want to. They don't want to tell you the night before really what they're doing. I'm asking like Charlie Hartley. He says we're fishing open water grass beds, and I'm thinking thick grass like Gunnersville, like grass that's maybe up towards the top.
Grass.
We get out there, and he's fishing this real thin scatter grass, and he's throwing a Carolina rig the whole time. I didn't even have a Carolina rig with me, so I'm trying to make up a Carolina rig out of a crankbait rod, and I don't know, it was just a pain. But anyway,
I've done that before. Okay, let me do the try.
All right, who scores first? Who scores first, Rams or Cincy?
I'm going Bengals. No,
you don't let it, Cleveland.
There you go. All right, so the Bengals will score first. Bengals plus 3.5 against the Rams.
Bengals. I'm on the Bengals. I've been on them all year, so guys, stay with it.
There it is. Rose has eclipsed Cobb.
Over under 48.5 points.
I'm gonna go over.
And Joe Burrow plus 6.5 or Matt Stafford yards passing.
See, that's a tricky one right there. Now that right there gets me. I think Stafford's going to throw for more yards. I got to go Stafford.
They want to spread you out and still pound you.
A couple of SEC guys there. All right, man, we got you in.
I'm cheering for Burrow and them just because of the SEC. You know, I mean, my son's a huge LSU.
Stafford's a SEC too. What about Matt Stafford, Georgia?
Yeah, it seems like he's been out of the league for 100 years. I hadn't really been that long. But yeah, my son's a huge LSU fan, so we got to go with Burrow and Chase. So
right,
I got to go with him. All right, y'all have a good weekend. I'll talk to you later. All right.
Appreciate you. All right, phone lines remain open at the top of the hour. Philip is up next. You can jump in behind him. But we have open lines for the next half hour. So if you want to get in on this deal, man, this is a great deal, a great trifecta, an opportunity to take in a Huntsville Havoc hockey game and an ice suite, the TOC Sports Ice Suite, with me, Junkyard Babe, Grizz, +1, all right here. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's North Alabama Mortgage.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A decision on Aaron Rodgers' plans for 2022 will be made in the near future. That from the Packers quarterback himself after he picked up his 4th NFL MVP award. He also made it clear the animosity he felt toward the Packers organization at this time last year is no more. Rodgers' options go back to Green Bay, ask for a trade, or retire. In the aftermath of the NBA mega trade that sent guard James Harden to the 76ers, Coach Steve Nash admitted contemplating what might have been in Brooklyn if circumstances had worked out differently for Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Harden the last 2 seasons. Harden dealt to Philadelphia for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 future first-round picks. Nash unsure when Simmons will be able to play, given he hasn't played this season as he awaited his trade from Philadelphia. The banged-up Nets will try and snap a 10-game losing streak tomorrow versus the Heat.
Bring that playoff intensity every day to our shows.
Bring it on, Chop. Let's go.
Okay, maybe just for Drew DeArmond.
Bing. Me.
Listen for Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew. Weekday mornings starting at 7 on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds
like Elle McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? If somebody responds, get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show on Super Bowl Friday in the Doghouse. The segment of the show is brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental. For all your rental needs, it's Valley Equipment Rental. Whether you need an excavator, a skid steer, whether you need a lift, whether you need smaller hand tools, a jackhammer, compressor, whatever it is that you need, they've got it at Valley Equipment. And keep an eye out for their second location coming soon out on the North Memorial Parkway up north of Winchester Road. And they're going to have there, for the contractors, they'll have bigger dozers and bigger excavators and bigger lifts and all that kind of stuff, which will free up some space at the South Memorial location as well. Valley Equipment Rental. Ross Roberts and his crew, they are just outstanding. All right, phone lines are open for the next half hour, okay? So if you want in, this is a good time to do it at 256-576-4977. We have your superfecta for you. And it's 4 picks, which means that anybody can win this thing. Because the lead right now is 6 points, okay? J.J. Bowling has the lead at 6 points. But we have 8 points available today. Now, certainly the guys that are already on the board, they got a little bit of advantage, but they've earned that advantage. But if you want to get in and get a piece of this, you can do it right now. We are looking at 4 picks for you. Who scores first? The sides in the game. And yes, I am using vintage Cincinnati Reds and Los Angeles Dodgers sound because I just don't like these teams. Don't like them. Don't like them. Plus, baseball season's right around the corner. I'm feeling good about this. The baseball, the management, the owners are making a proposal tomorrow to the Players Association. The Players Association refused arbitration. Rob Manfred said, I'm optimistic. He said, I'm an optimist, he said. I believe that we will have an agreement in time to play our regular schedule. We're doing everything we can to get that deal done for our fans. The hell out of here for our fans. What do you mean for our fans? For you people. Yeah, we're the fans. You need to get a deal in place so that you can continue to make the millions and millions of dollars that these teams make for our fans. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to go buy a $125 ticket in the bleachers to your game. Thank you for selling me that $12 beer. Can I please have a $17 hot dog? Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. He said that you're always one breakthrough away from making an agreement. That's the art of the process. Somebody makes a move, and that's why we'll make additional moves on Saturday that create flexibility on the other side. And what seems like a big gap on this topic or that topic isn't such a big gap anymore. All right. We'll see. He says they're making a good faith, positive proposal in an effort to move the process forward. Whether or not that happens in the process, I don't know, but it's a good proposal. One of the union's primary objectives, it says in the article, during the negotiation has been getting younger players paid more earlier in their careers. Manfred says, we agree. And we actually share that goal. So they want to try and get that done. Maybe at the expense of paying older players. I mean, really, the younger players should get paid earlier, and some have. I mean, look at some of the deals that we saw. I mean, Ronald Acuna Jr. I think he had played 140 games. He hadn't even played a full season when he got his huge deal. But what's going to happen is at the other end of these deals, you got all these deals where you got these players that are making $19 million, $21 million, and they suck. They're at the end of their career. They're not very good, and they suck, but they're getting paid for what they did. And that's the problem with the Freddie Freeman thing. If Freddie Freeman wants 8 years or 6 years, And at 6 years, $40 million. Forget about that. That ain't going to happen. But he's sitting there saying, yeah, but I was making $600,000 for the first 5 years. The Phillip is up next. Phillip, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, I'm in need of one of them jackhammers you were selling because I'm going to pay somebody to jackhammer me into the ground if I hear about Aaron Rodgers one more time. Oh.
Would you take him? Would you take him right now for Dak Prescott? If they said we'll give you Aaron Rodgers straight up for Dak Prescott?
No, he's every bit the loser Dak Prescott is. Are you kidding me?
Well, he's won a Super Bowl.
This guy's a bum. He is. I swear to God, I didn't think anybody could ever be a bigger prima donna, overrated piece of crap than Brett Favre. And I found one. It's Aaron Rodgers.
He's got 4 MVPs, you know.
I don't care. You can give him awards all you want to. That doesn't make him great. The dude sucks. When it gets down to it, he sucks. He's no better than Danny freaking White. Are you kidding me?
He's better than
Danny White. He managed to win one. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's throw balloons up in the air. Are you kidding me?
He's got a better playoff record than Peyton Manning. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Now that's wait. That's a different topic. You're saying he's a jerk. That's a different topic. Now you're talking about his personality. You're not talking about his ability.
His ability sucks. He's done nothing more than what? Who was the dude for the Ravens that won the quarterback for the Ravens?
Trent Dilfer.
Trent, he's no better than Trent Dilfer.
He's the head football. What are you talking about? Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer's the head football coach at he's the head coach at Lipscomb in Nashville. He's the head high school football coach at Lipscomb. What are you talking about, Trent Dilfer?
How many MVPs does he have? How many MVPs does Trent Dilfer have?
I think that the Dallas Cowboys would have won 3 Super Bowls during Aaron Rodgers' career if he was their quarterback during his entire career instead of the Packers.
No way. The guy.
They've had better talent. They've had better talent. He hasn't had. He never has a top flight running back. You know, they just like plug and play running back. He has had a million different receivers. Yeah, you give him those receivers that Devontae Adams is fantastic right now. I don't know what he looked like with somebody else, but often he doesn't have great receivers. I think he would have done better with the Cowboys.
No way. The guy is a total bust. He's a bum. I'm sick and tired of hearing about him. This is the whole, don't target me back to the day when Troy Aikman's winning 3 Super Bowls and all we heard about was Steve Young and Brett Favre. And oh my God, they're the greatest quarterbacks to ever live. Troy Aikman was the general of the Dallas Cowboys and won 3 Super Bowls. If winning 1 Super Bowl makes you that fantastic, what has happened, and I want to do your trifecta, by the way, what has happened to the sports media who cannot reckon back to the quarterbacks that won, how many did Tom Brady win? 6? 7?
Yeah, 7.
Terry Bradshaw's, the Roger Staubachs, the Troy Aikmans, the
3.
What are we? How is what? And on top of it, he's a jerk. He's a complete jerk.
I think that's what's at the heart of this.
Give him this is a black eye on the NFL, in my opinion.
I agree with it. I agree with him on the jerk comment.
That honor.
That's the second time I've heard that, by the way.
But that's a political thing. That's more of a political thing that he's a jerk. You know what I mean? His brother doesn't like him, apparently, and his family doesn't like him. But, I mean, a lot of guys are jerks in the league. You know what I mean? But I do agree. I tell you what I do agree on. Troy Aikman is maybe the most underrated great quarterback in the history of the NFL. And if
that's why you are
Jimmy
the Messiah,
didn't,
Tom. That's why you're the Messiah.
And if Jimmy didn't screw, or if Jerry didn't screw up and get rid of Jimmy, Troy Aikman might have won 5. That's what I think he would have won.
God, it was so great. Can we get another one of those?
All right.
Please.
All right.
Trifecta.
Let's get your trifecta in. Who scores first, the Rams or the Bengals?
The Rams.
Bengals plus 3.5 against the Rams.
Negatory, my friend. The Rams will win this Super Bowl.
I don't believe what I just saw.
Over or under 48.5 points?
I'm going under.
And 2 SEC quarterbacks. Who has more yards passing? Joe Burrow plus 6.5 yards or Matt Stafford?
Matthew Stafford.
They want to spread you out and still pound you.
That's his coach, Mark Richt. All right, Philip. I appreciate you. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Enjoy the Messiah. You are the Messiah. Praise the Lord.
Of Sports Talk Radio. That's all. Thanks, Philip. Of Sports Talk Radio. Don't confuse me with the other Messiah. I mean, I'm not the Messiah. Okay. If he wants to say the Messiah of Sports Talk Radio, that's his opinion. Okay. I'm not the Messiah. Mark is next. Mark, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. How are you, man?
Fantastic.
Well, I can't decide. I thought Rob Manfred was the biggest clown, but that last caller kind of.
He did it this morning, too, on Talking Ball. It was great. I just wanted you to get a daily dose of it, too.
Oh, Philip called in to Talking Ball?
He called in Talking Ball and probably did about the same thing. Yeah. I agree with him, though. I've heard the same thing. I used to listen to Colin Cowherd all the time, working a different job, and I've heard him. He's like, close your eyes, and he did all these comparisons, and I swear he compared all of his personality traits to I can't even remember.
But we don't care if he's a jerk or
to
not.
Jay Cutler. No, he compared it to
what?
Jay Cutler. He was like he said he called him a more talented Jay Cutler. That's what he called him.
I don't know about that. Jay Cutler's much more.
Exactly. He made stupid sound stupid. You know?
Who now? Jake, the caller, the Philip, or the or Aaron Rodgers?
Rob Manfred, he made me rethink it. Oh. I'm still going to say Rob Manfred's a clown.
So I'm listening. Hey, check this out. I'm listening yesterday to a clip from one of the what was it? 104.5 The Zone up at Joe's station. All right, where Joe Hunk is now. 104.5 The Zone in Nashville, and I hear a clip on there, and it's Jeff in the Burrow. And he's going off. He's going off on basketball. Kentucky basketball. Hilarious.
No, this is Manfred. He's sitting there saying we're not. Spring training's not going to be affected at all.
Now the season. They know that the spring training is going to be hurt. The season, though, we can't miss games.
Spring training's not going to be affected.
Really? Wow. That'd be great. I hope. Yeah.
That's a. I don't know how to explain it. That's stupid.
It's pie in the sky.
They haven't even got close to what they think they're.
Well, let's see. He's optimistic. Let's see what tomorrow's proposal brings. You know, if they get the proposal right and everything, part of the proposal may be to shorten spring training. These guys don't need the 30 games of spring training. They really don't. It's just strictly for those towns in Florida and Arizona and the economy and what it brings in. But the guys don't need it. And you're seeing more and more of it where guys don't even play. They might play in 15 or 18 games, and the games they do play, and they might only play 3 or 4 innings.
And they said earlier, this, like a couple things like a month ago or something like that, if they can get the deal done before the end of the month, they could start, March 1st and then be ready by the end of the month.
They could start March 15th and be ready.
Yeah. I know what I'm saying, but I mean, if you get it done anytime now, you got plenty of time.
A couple of weeks to get it done. Yeah.
So that means we're all putting our eggs in a basket that it's going to get done Saturday.
Not Saturday, because Saturday's only the 12th. I mean, but if this is a good movement, then maybe by the 17th there's a rebuttal to this movement, and then maybe by the 25th they get a deal done. You know, I mean, we got 3 weeks. Come on, Mark, we got to be positive. I need baseball, Mark.
Well, the Rays have a stadium by then.
I will be positive once our Braves can get Freddie Freeman back.
Well, they can't until they get this deal done.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
Sorry. But I'll get on your pick 3. I had to rant for a second because Manfred drives me fuck.
Who's going to score first in the game, the Rams or the Bengals?
I'll give that to the Rams.
Wait. Bengals plus 3.5 in the game.
I got to take the Bengals.
There it is. Rose has eclipsed Cobb.
You like these old-fashioned baseball cuts I'm using today? Pretty good stuff.
Dude.
Over or under 48.5 points?
That one's a tough one for me. Give me the over on that.
And you got 2 SEC quarterbacks. Joe Burrow plus 6.5 yards against Matt Stafford.
As far as like passing goes?
Yards. Total yards. Burrow gets 6.5 yards. So if Burrow ends up with 277 yards, which is his average, if he ends up at 277, you tack on 6.5 and then see what Stafford had.
Well, that's a difficult one, too. I can't stop believing in Burrow.
You know, I used to stop at the Exxon and get a chicken on a stick. Best I ever had.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all.
The way I came about that number 6.5 is the over or under for Joe Burrow passing in this game is 277, and the over or under passing for Stafford is 283. So there's a 6-yard difference between Stafford and Burrow in the over-unders. So I use that and I put a hook on it because I don't want any ties. Shane is in Decatur. Shane, how you doing, my friend?
I am doing great, big dog. How you been, sir?
I'm better than good, better than I deserve, and don't know what I'm going to be doing after we recap the Super Bowl on Monday. It's always that time, and it'll be interesting to see what the topics become. Who knows? Maybe Brian Harsin or somebody will get fired.
You should definitely start drug testing these guys that call in and make these comments, because Philip just moved into Jeff from the Burrows category in my book. He is a flipping idiot. I mean, yeah, Rodgers is a jerk, but, dude, you cannot discount this guy's skill set. I mean, he is, if not the most skilled quarterback to ever play in the NFL, he's top 2 or 3, period. Now,
I think he's the best thrower of the football to ever play. I mean, certainly in my lifetime, the best thrower of the football that I have ever seen. Now, is he the best leader? He's not a champion, type guy. But there is no better thrower of the football that I have ever seen in my 60 years on this earth.
You are 1,000% correct, sir. And I know I'm not as old as you, but being 40 years old, I've seen the Steve Youngs, the Troy Aikmans. And oh, by the way, I agree with your comment about him playing for the Cowboys. Now, yeah he'd probably have 5 or 6 Super Bowls. And he's definitely not had the talent around him.
Yeah. I think he'd have 3, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Just because you don't like, that's what I don't like, is when someone has whatever it is against someone, and it 9 times out of 10 is something has to do with, off the field. Like, you can't sit there and slam the guy's talent. I mean, he's an awesome quarterback, but that's just my take. But I'm here for the trifecta, sir.
Who scores first, Rams or Bengals?
The Bengals.
You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
Bengals plus 3.5.
Give me the Bengals.
There it is. Rose has eclipsed Cobb.
Over or under 48.5?
Over. Definitely over.
Ooh, definitely over. I hope you're right. I'm jumping on the over. And yards passing in the game, Burrow plus 6.5 against Stafford.
Give me Mr. Joey B.
You know, I used to stop at the Exxon and get a chicken on a stick. Best I ever had.
All right, you got him, man.
All right. You have a good one, sir, and have a great weekend and a good Super Bowl.
You too. You know, yeah, you got to keep personality out of it. I mean, obviously there's something there about Aaron Rodgers. He's not Jay Cutler. But there is something there about Aaron Rodgers because he's estranged from his family.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? What does that mean? You know, if you're estranged from your family, he and Jordan don't talk, and you know Rodgers apparently is kind of estranged there. I mean, he was dating Danica Patrick for a while, but she's kind of a jerk too. So maybe they were kindred, spirits. He's got a new girlfriend.
They're just mean to each other. It should have worked.
Maybe they're just mean to each other. I don't know. Politically, he's conservative, obviously, so that bristles a lot of people. He didn't want to get vaccinated. He was doing his own alternative medicine thing, but that you can't have your opinion be made by things like that about his playing ability. The only legit question there is about Aaron Rodgers in terms of his overall skill set is his record in the playoffs, and that last one was a really bad loss for him. I mean, to be honest with you. Now, it takes 12. It takes a full team. It takes 11 on both sides of the ball. You got to have defense. There's a lot of things that go into, whether or not a quarterback ultimately wins. Trent Dilfer wins a Super Bowl. Brad Johnson wins a Super Bowl. We see these types of things all the time. But his ability to chuck it around is just ridiculous. Now, he's 11-10 in the playoffs. That's a problem. And he's lost several at home, which is a problem. His quarterback rating in the playoffs is 100.1. His regular season rating in his career is 104.5. So it's not like he totally sucks in the playoffs. His quarterback rating in 21 playoff games is 100.1. He's thrown 45 touchdowns and only 13 interceptions in the playoffs. That doesn't suck. He's thrown for nearly 6,000 yards in the playoffs. Now, his completion percentage is 64.7 in the playoffs. His regular season completion percentage is 65.3. It's 0.5%. And in the playoffs, you're playing good on good. You're not playing the Detroit Lions. You're playing somebody that's good. And you're playing in cold weather, nasty weather. You don't have perfect conditions. It's not nice and warm. Guys aren't dropping the ball because it's freezing and all that stuff. His record in the playoffs is 11-10. His passer rating is 100.1. 45-13 with a 65% completion percentage. So is it possible that somebody's dropping a pass here and there? Is it possible that the defense isn't making a stop here or there? He doesn't play linebacker. I mean, come on. Let me get a break. We'll come back. Short segment. Badger Larry will be in it. And then we still have Lee Sterling coming up. It's the Thom Abraham Show. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Super Bowl weekend is here. The Cincinnati Bengals playing in their first Super Bowl since the 1988 season. The LA Rams playing in their home stadium, returning to the Super Bowl since they won the NFC Championship 3 years ago. The Rams a 4-point favorite over Cincinnati. The over-under at 48.5. After the blockbuster trade sending James Harden to the Sixers for Ben Simmons and others, the Brooklyn Nets still the favorite to win the NBA championship as of Thursday, plus 375. The Warriors and Suns, with two of the best records in the NBA, each at plus 450. The defending champion Bucks at plus 650. A week from Sunday, it's the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Denny Hamlin plus 850, Chase Elliott plus 1,000, and Kyle Larson plus 1,100.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed precision overhead garage door service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Hey man, this is John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church. Hey, whether your own marriage is like first and goal on the 1-yard line or you're sitting at 2nd and 26, there's things that can be learned which will help us grow in our marriages and grow closer to God and to each other and to finish the game well. So if you are married, single, or single again, our new marriage series, I Do, Building Our Marriage, is for you. Join us this Sunday at Cross Point Church at 9 o'clock or 10:30, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, or check us out at cpcfamily.org.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatewitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Really is going to be a beautiful end of the work week across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s. All good things must come to an end, and this good thing is definitely going to come to an end as we head into the overnight and then through at least the first half of your weekend. A mostly cloudy or overcast sky on Saturday. An isolated shower is going to be possible. Most of us, though, are going to be dry. The big thing here is that it's going to be chilly on Saturday afternoon. Temperatures only hanging out in the mid and upper 40s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The segment of the Thom Abraham Show brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. At North Alabama Mortgage, they have everything in every different kind of mortgage product you need to get your mortgage. You don't get stuck like Wolverine Dan did with his buyers because they didn't get the right mortgage. They should have went to North Alabama Mortgage, and they could have got either conventional, a VA, a FHA, or USDA loan. And it doesn't matter if you want to refinance. Great time to refinance. They got some tremendous opportunities there for refinancing for a home renovation or a college expense or a wedding expense or whatever major expense that you might have coming up. They treat their clients like family. I know, because I feel like I'm part of the family now because I used North Alabama Mortgage to help me with my refinance, and they did a tremendous job. I can tell you firsthand, it is an outstanding team there, and Brian Hammaker does a great job servicing everybody in the Tennessee Valley and beyond because they cover also into Tennessee and down into Florida as well. All right, back to the lines. Badger Larry is next. Probably has a thought or three about this whole Aaron Rodgers discussion. Badger Larry, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing good, Tom. I'm just concerned about the Phillip. I don't know if he's so jealous that the Cowboys can't ever make it to the playoffs or if Rodgers had some illicit relationships with his sister or something. I mean, he's pretty fired up over that situation.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it might be a Cowboys-Packers thing. I'm just going to say that it could be that. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. I looked at a stat last night that I've got some Bear fans that are always telling me that, he's gone here and done that or whatever. But, in the last 79 games, he's thrown more TDs than any QB in Bear history in 125 years or whatever it is.
Oh, my God.
So,
is that true?
Yeah, it is true. Yeah, and his TD to interception ratio, if you ever looked that up, compare it to any other quarterback ever. I mean, there's no one even in the ball game with him. I mean, it's incredible, that stat. So, I mean, I don't like
his playoff numbers aren't terrible. There's reasons why teams lose playoff games, but I don't know how much of it has been because of his performance. You know what I mean? I mean, a 100.1 rating in the playoffs. Yeah. I don't know that he's sucked in the playoffs as much as there's other things that happen. And it doesn't account for people dropping passes and other things that have happened in the game. And he doesn't play defense in a lot of those cases. And plus, it's always good on good.
And he sure doesn't play special teams. If we had special teams this year, we'd be playing in the Super Bowl. So it's not even. I haven't been able to get in to even discuss that since that game. But I've been called for a special teams coach since about the third game of the season. I knew this was going to be an issue at some point, and there it was.
They did fire the guy. They did ultimately pull the trigger on him.
Yeah, after the season.
Yeah,
but in that this whole discussion you had about black coaches and so on, so you don't get called racist. But you have to look at that situation as being the case here because I really truthfully hate to say it, but I think that's why he didn't get fired. So.
You mean the special teams coordinator? You think because he was black that they hung on to him a little longer than they would normally have hung on to him?
Well, I think so because if they do it in the middle of the season, that would be, an issue. I think so.
Yeah.
But you can't even say that or you're, called names.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I've seen guys get fired. We've seen assistant coaches, black, white, whatever, get fired in season, but it's a tough thing to do when that happens. You know what I mean? Regardless of who it is, that's a really tough thing to do.
Yeah, it is, and it's unfortunate, but it is the case. But that definitely cost them the Super Bowl this year. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, you've given up blocked punts, blocked field goals. I mean, all season long, they talk about Mason Crosby missing all these field goals. Well, it's because they changed the long snapper and the holder, and most of the time the ball wasn't even in the right place at the right time. But you didn't hear him complaining. But right. There was a lot of issues there that had been going on all year long.
Yeah, it certainly cost them that game against the 49ers, and then who knows what would happen if the Rams had to go there. It would have been a different. It would have been a different deal.
Yes, sir. I got my picks in already on the
Oh, good. Okay.
text line. So
All right. Sounds
anyway,
good. Appreciate you.
Bring Philip off the ledge.
Yeah.
I'm afraid his blood pressure's a little high there. So
He's like, you know how Wolverine Dan is about the Lions in Michigan. You know, he's always going to pull everything back there. That's how Philip is with the Cowboys. I mean, he's gonna you know, take it right to that. He's going to that spot. You know, he's not getting off of that. So
yeah. Well, I don't like Aikman either. So
there you go. I like Aikman. I know. I thought he was great. But all right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, brother. Have a good weekend.
So he called the morning show, which I think is interesting. Because Philip,
it was pretty intense then too. At 7:00 in the morning.
Well, the Philip is, just so you know the background.
Yeah,
he is originally from like Virginia or West Virginia, someplace like that. He lived in Nashville, and he was a listener on Nashville sports radio to a bunch of different stations. Then he found my show when I was in Nashville. And he became a hardcore listener on my show. He had gotten himself banned at different times from various shows, similar to Jeff and the Burrow, that kind of thing.
It happens.
So he very passionate type caller.
Gotta cool off.
I never banned anybody because I've never banned anybody. I
only banned Jeff this year.
No, I banned nobody. I don't care. I mean,
Jeff for like a week. He got a week
ban.
ban
To get banned from my show. But anyway, so he finds me here. And now he's listening to our other shows. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That he's now because he's back in Virginia or West. It's either Virginia or West Virginia. I think it's Virginia.
Okay.
So he's back in Virginia. He's out of Nashville and back in Virginia, yet he's listening online to 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't know if I agree with Badger Larry that the special teams was the issue this year. I mean, this is the same.
God.
I get it. But listen, this is the same Packers team that in 2015 almost went to the Super Bowl, and Brandon Bostic botched the worst onside kick I've ever seen in my entire life. And it could have gone out of bounds, and it would have been fine. And then the Packers go to the Super Bowl because they were.
Oh, you're saying that they've had special team issues over the years?
Yeah. They've had issues before.
This year, though, it was horrific. I mean, in that game.
Yeah.
A punt block and a field goal, block and a pump block, and the pump block went for a touchdown that was the winning points.
But it just feels like if it's like the NFC Championship game, the playoffs, like the Packers have some kind of breakdown, and I remember that like it was yesterday because I think I was watching that game with a buddy of mine who's a hardened Packers fan, and he was just so mad that the Seahawks ended up winning that game.
All right, let me get Keith in here quick so that we can finish with Lee Sterling. Keith, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing all right, big dog. I'm in the doctor's office, so I want to get my picks in right quick.
Let's get the picks in. You sounded kind of quiet, so I thought that maybe that was the case. First score, Rams or Bengals?
Rams.
Bengals plus 3.5 or the Rams in the game?
Rams.
I don't believe what I just saw.
The Rams, huh?
Got to go with Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I hear you. Over or under 48.5 points?
I'm going over since Wolverine Dan went under.
And little Michigan on Michigan deal there. All right, and then in the yards passing, Joe Burrow gets 6.5 yards against Stafford. Who has more yards passing, Burrow or Stafford?
Stafford.
They want to spread you out and still pound you.
See, some people think that if the Rams are winning, Joe Burrow will have to be throwing for 1,000,000 yards, so to catch up. But all right, good luck with the doctor appointment.
Hey, I'll tell you about it next week.
All right, appreciate you.
All
right, let's get a break. When we come back, Lee Sterling is up next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN. For over 20 years, Audio Insight has been designing and installing systems that integrate today's technology into homes and businesses all over the Tennessee Valley. At Audio Insight, they don't provide one-size-fits-all system solutions. Instead, they design your system from the ground up based on your valuable input. By working closely with you, Audio Insights can ensure that your system will meet your performance, budget, and aesthetic needs. Visit the showroom at 1229 Putman Drive off Jordan Lane and experience some of their fine products firsthand. Visit audio-insight.com to learn more. more.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental. Coming in April, Valley will have a second location opening up on the North Parkway between Winchester Road and Bob Wade. They'll be offering bigger contractor-only type equipment, including 10K reach forklifts, 300 series track hose, and larger rollers and dozers, along with other equipment. Valley Equipment's 2 locations will better serve the region and allow them to grow their fleet. Valley Equipment Rental, locally owned for 10 years, where they put more care in every rental.
I wanna thank you. Thank you for making us your #1 choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Rolling, rolling, yeah! Rolling, rolling, keep moving, moving, moving. Oh, they're disapproving. Keep them doggies moving, Lord. Don't try to understand them. Just rope and throw.
Oh, they can only mean one thing.
Soon we'll be living high and
We'll talk to him in a month. Lee Sterling brought to us by Audio Insight today. Audio Insight. Look, they can do everything. You want that home theater system in your house? Maybe you want to set up like Sterling's got. I bet Lee Sterling's got like 8 or 9 TVs on a wall. You know what I mean? One of those bunch of flat screens, big one in the middle, smaller ones on the side, something like that. Audio Insight does all of that stuff. They know that it's not one-size-fits-all system solutions. They can do whatever you need. Maybe all you need is a sound bar, and they can take care of that, or a TV hung. Maybe you are building a new house and you want the whole house wired for sound. They can do that, or they can hook you up with a complete home theater system. Check them out at audio-insight.com. That's audio-insight.com, or go to their showroom at 1229 Putman Drive off of Jordan Lane and see some of the products that Dave Bond and his team have there at Audio Insight. Lee Sterling joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Lee, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm going to tweet out in a second my setup. So I don't have 8 or 9 TVs. I have a 70 and a 55, 255s. I'm sorry, 70 and 255s in my man cave, and I have 4 chairs that recline almost all the way back, and
nice.
Usually have a computer on either side of me sitting in one of my chairs. So that's the way I roll. So you can't really watch more than 3 games at one time.
No, you can't. You would be bouncing around looking at the different games, but it would be hard to do. I get that. So I thought maybe you had a 25-inch floor Zenith unit with a 18-inch black and white on top of it. Where you like snack
and maybe a Magnavox.
Yeah,
you whack. With the rabbit ears.
Hey, do you remember? I remember putting the 12-inch black and white on top of the 25-inch Zenith when I was a kid, when I wanted to watch the game that was on CBS and the game that was on NBC. Back when we only had 3 channels and stuff like that.
Right.
I did that stuff. So
I was telling my kids about how, I think at 12 o'clock you would have snow. There was nothing on TV anymore. Everything cut off
at night. Yeah, or the pattern. You'd have the pattern. The little the test pattern would be on the TV at night at 12 o'clock. And I lived on the lake, on the shores of Lake Ontario, and I used to turn the antenna. We had that big antenna on top of the house that would kind of turn. You turn a dial, and I'd point it north, and I would be able to pull the Canadian channels out of Toronto when I was a little kid. And you could watch stuff.
How could you see it out of Toronto? Where were you living?
I lived right on the shore of Lake Ontario, Rochester, New York, right on the lake. So it was
okay.
only the lake across the shore or across the way. So we would point the antenna over there, and they had naughty stuff on the TV late at night in Canada. Man, they did stuff that you shouldn't have been seeing. You didn't see it in the U.S. This is in the 70s. You know what I mean? So anyway, funny stuff. All right. There's a number.
I just tweeted it, so if anyone wants to take a look at it, it's up right now. So
I got to see that. I got to check that out.
See the Sterling setup for Super Bowl. So now, what do you do? I mean, what kind of food do you serve, and how many people you have coming over to your Super Bowl party?
We won't have now. This is, I mean, up until the last couple of years, up until COVID hit, really, I was always hosting a Super Bowl party on the radio leading up to the game, and then watching, we'd be out at a sports bar at some place, and they would sponsor it. And so, I mean, for years and years, I hosted Super Bowl parties, which means you never get to see the game, really, because you're, gabbing with people and everything else. But then the COVID hit, and then we stopped doing that, so it's kind of cool. So as far as just my sons will be here, there's 4 sons, right? So they'll be here, a couple of the daughter-in-laws, wife, and we'll just my wife she'll make some stuff and bring it into the man cave, into the living room area or the dining room area where we watch. So it's not, we don't go nuts. I'm working a little bit, you know what I mean? I'm trying to make some notes and stuff like that, so we don't get too crazy about it. And of course, it's the only game we watch. The commercial.
You don't have a certain go-to food like chicken wings or barbecue or anything like that?
We have a dip that my wife makes that is it's cream cheese and it's a chili dip, chili beans and chili and cream cheese and what do you call it on top? Some mozzarella on top, and we have
a spinach dip, and then we have a different theme each year, but we're going to go with wings and also barbecue.
Nice.
So
wings.
Can't go wrong that way, right?
I hope you must have had a winning year if you're getting wings. I went to get wings the other day at the store. I wanted 3 pounds of wings. They were $25. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Wings have gotten expensive.
You get wings right now. You go to you order them out, cooked, like $18.95.
Oh yeah, no, it's nuts. And if you go to the store and buy a bag of frozen wings, I used to buy an 8-pound bag of wings, and I would make them every Sunday. And an 8-pound bag of frozen wings right now, honest to God, it's got to be $30. I mean, you might as well get crab legs. I mean, it's crazy how expensive they are.
It is crazy.
All right, one of the numbers that's out there I thought is really kind of cool is the winning team has covered the spread 88.5% of the time. So whoever you think is going to win the game, just pick the winner, and chances are they will cover, whether they were the dog or the favorite, they will cover for you. That's a hell of a trend.
It is, but tough picking the winners. It just shows you how tough it's been. I mean, it seemed like the public was on Kansas City, riding Patrick Mahomes. How about in the playoffs? The last 6 games, all underdogs. Who thought that Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady would lose at home? So not easy. I think that, it's a line. It started at 3.5, moved to 4.5. Most places now it's back down to 4. I think you got the public more on Cincinnati and more the Sharps and more. I mean, the two. I heard there's a $4 million wager placed today on Cincinnati +4, and
5.
Mattress Mac took them on the money line. There was also a $2.5 million wager on the Rams -4. Seems like there's more larger wagers, $1,000 and up though on the Rams.
Yeah, there was a $5 million moneyline wager on the Bengals. It's the largest ever. It exceeded the $4.7 million that was last year. That I think it was.
They don't know who it is.
But they don't know who it is. It's $5 million on a money line, and the biggest bet previously at a casino was $4.7 million, and that was the Rams and the Patriots 20 years ago. So, so yeah, that's a lot of money. I figured it was you. I thought. I mean, I figured you're dropping to $5 million.
I was the $1 million guy.
No, you were the $1 million guy. All right. What are some of the props that you really like in this game? Because there are some interesting opportunities there for people.
So it always starts off with the national anthem here. As you know, my daughter's hit it 7 straight years in a row, going for number 8. Are you familiar with the artist that's singing it, Mickey Guyton?
No, I'm not at all.
So I heard the name. She's a black country western singer. And here's what
I know she is, yeah. Yeah, right. Go ahead.
Her passion for wanting to become a recording artist stems when she was growing up in Arlington, Texas, a suburb of Dallas, watching Leanne Rimes sing the national anthem at a Texas Rangers game. So she has sang it twice. That is up and available to look at, and she did it in 1 minute and 24 seconds and 1 minute and 27 seconds. My daughter studied it, and she told me those were done with a quick track. She felt she was rushing through it. She was cutting phrases short to stay along with the music here. There is a history of letting people take their time during the national anthem the last 9 years. In fact, 7 of the last 9 Super Bowls have gone over 2 minutes. The other 2 were over 1 minute and 35, and that's where the over-under is here for her singing the national anthem. So my daughter just feels that this is her moment, and she'll show her sing the song that she was inspired by on her life's path on the biggest stage, and she's not going to rush it, and she's going to nail it here. We're going to go with the over 1 minute and 35 seconds for the 8th, potentially a straight win.
Wow. Is there a line yet on like whether Snoop Dogg is actually going to perform now that he's been clipped for he's been charged with sex trafficking? I mean, my God, they're going to let him still perform at the Super Bowl? I mean, is that where we're at? Jeez.
I saw that. I saw the headline. I just was shaking my head. I mean,
that's just crazy.
can more
nuts.
go wrong?
What are some of the other ones you like prop-wise?
Okay, a couple others I like. Joe Burrow over 10.5 rushing yards. Remember, they don't count sacks, so he can get sacked another 8-9 times for 80-90 yards. You don't count any of those yards. And in the championship game, he ran twice for first downs, 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 9. I think he's going to go over 10.5. All we need is 111, 12-yard rush. And Matthew Stafford, 5.5 rushing yards. I think he's going under. I think this is they're setting you up here. Most people will play over, and he'll go under. He's not real mobile. First offensive play, a run. Reason I like that is Rams last game. They threw the ball first 3 times out of the gate, had to punt. They don't want to, if they have a 3-and-out, they want to get their line involved, get the juices flowing, even if it's a 3-4 yard rush. So I expect them to run, and the Bengals too. I mean, the Bengals don't want to leave Joe Burrow throwing the football 45, 50 times. So we'll go first offensive play, a run, -140. Cincinnati's Trey Hendrickson, over a half a sack. He had 14 sacks in the regular season and 2.5 in the playoffs, including a strip sack. Let's go with the over a half sack there. He's by far the best pass rusher they have, and Matthew Stafford, as I said, not real mobile. And the one I like the most, longest field goal, 47 yards. These guys, these kickers these days, they're hitting anything under 58. It seems like an extra point here. And McPherson hasn't missed a field goal in the playoffs. Every field goal attempt has gone straight through the center. So I like over 47 yards on the longest field goal made.
Yeah, especially in that stadium, which is essentially a dome stadium, so they shouldn't have any problem with that. I love the Joe Burrow over 10.5 yards one because I feel he's going to be under great pressure, throughout the game. I think he'll be under some heavy duty pressure. What do you think? Help our listeners out that are making their picks in to beat the big dog. Who do you think will score first in this game?
That's tough. I mean, that's tough. When I think probably want to maybe look at Joe Mixon or Cooper Kupp from either side.
Team-wise. I should say team-wise. So what team do you think will score first?
Probably the Rams. I mean, you go with the favorite there. And then in the game, I favor the Rams here. So I think by them playing in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, I think it helps their coaching staff. They were definitely unsettled when they played in that game against the Patriots a couple years ago. And on top of that, I just think that defensive line, I mean, maybe the best defensive line in the NFL against the second worst offensive line, that could be a real mismatch there. And then you got Cooper Kupp. Maybe there's like 5-6 receivers that are unguardable. I feel he's unguardable here, and also even OBJ. I mean, he looks like he's playing at his highest level in the last 3-4 years. And I think Joe Burrow's great. I think he has an edge over Matthew Stafford. So does McPherson, the kicker. But Not many other places. Let's go with the Rams here, 31-20 over the Bengals. But another way to play it, I'm going to play the first half under 24 points. I think both teams are going to run the ball a lot more than expected in the first half. So we'll go under 24 first half, and then the Rams for the game minus the 4.
That is a big trend, the low score, because, like no score in the first 6 minutes is a good one because it just always seems to be that feeling out. I'm most excited that you're over 48.5 because I cannot pull for either of these teams. I hate these teams. I can't. My rooting interest being a Browns fan between OBJ on the one side, and the Cincinnati on the other. I can't root for either team, but I can root for the over. And you got it over at would you say 31-20 Rams? Is that what you said?
So you're a Browns fan, right?
Big time. Yeah.
So who is the most? Are the Bengals more hated or the Steelers? I would guess the Steelers.
Bengals.
Right?
No. Bengals. We accepted the Steelers in their dominance going all the way back to the 70s. They wanted the Steelers. We can respect the Steelers. They're like the Red Sox, Yankees. The Bengals, though, the Bengals are like little brother. The Bengals, and for the Bengals to win a Super Bowl before the Browns do, this would be awful. I mean, this
like
would be
the
the
nail
most
in the coffin.
Oh God, it would be the most miserable thing ever if the Bengals were to win a Super
right.
Bowl. So yeah.
I guess we won't hear from you next week if
no,
the
I'll
Bengals
be miserable
win, right?
if they win. And the thing is, I hate it because I really like Joe Burrow, who grew up a Browns fan. When you see a picture of his bedroom covered with Browns paraphernalia, kid grew up a Browns
worse,
fan.
Huh?
Oh, it's terrible.
It's almost as bad as being a Dolphins fan, and we couldn't tank for Joe Burrow, or we made the decision to go with Tua over Justin Herbert.
Well, who knew? All right, I appreciate you. We'll talk to you before the basketball tournament.
Okay, big dog. Take care.
All right, thank you, Lee Sterling. All right, coming up next, it's Chuck Oliver, Paul Feinbaum, and then The Drive with Stephen West. All right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.